Monster Hunter Wilds shines brightly in its first few hours, establishing a new world waiting to be tamed and several reasons to get back into the hunt. Slay, craft, repeat. For 2 decades, these are the 3 main principles the entire Monster Hunter franchise has lived by. For most Western players, however, installments prior to 2018 could be considered somewhat of a warm-up act, with Monster Hunter World sanding down many of the series' rough edges to help transform it into the global phenomenon it is today. Well, it's now 7 years later, and we stand on the brink of developer Capcom needing to do it all again when Monster Hunter Wilds launches on February 28th. Having played it at a preview event recently for 6 straight hours myself, I can comfortably say that it's the grand evolution I was hoping for. It melds together the best elements of Monster Hunter World and Rise, while letting you hunt freely within a truly contiguous open world. Now, I don't pretend to be a Monster Hunter expert, but even I can appreciate the complete gutting and removal of the franchise's stop-start nature. Once you complete a hunt in Monster Hunter Wilds, unless it's story sensitive, you'll no longer be pulled out of the map and sent back to base camp. Instead, it's up to you to decide if you want to continue roaming or head back, and it helps that the new game's new setting, the Forbidden Lands, is made up of various biomes and wildlife that made me want to investigate it more. Because while my demo started off in the desert environment Wilds has mostly been advertising up until this point, it was just a few hours later that I was dropped into a dripping, rain-drenched forest in search of my next beast. Getting around the Forbidden Lands is made much easier thanks to the new rideable beastie, the Sacred. Very much an extension of your customizable hunter, they handle extremely similarly to the Palamutes from Monster Hunter Rise, but with some added gameplay benefits. For one, even when travelling to and from destinations with NPCs as part of the story, you can both gather ingredients and craft while riding thanks to the returning Slinger, which lets you pull in items from far away. The ability to sharpen your weapon on the back of a Sacred using a whetstone also does well to let you prepare and adapt during the heat of a monster battle, always maintaining momentum, whereas previous Monster Hunter games would normally have you retreat. Overall, I'd say that the inclusion of the Sacred is a welcome one, since it makes getting around what promises to be a rather large map, with no loading screens by the way, even easier. The last time I played Monster Hunter Wilds was during Gamescom last year, where my PS5 build was locked to 30 FPS. While perfectly playable, I had prepared myself for the reality that 60 FPS wouldn't be available on console at launch. Dragon's Dogma 2, hello, but luckily this isn't the case. In fact, in addition to both a 30 FPS and 60 FPS mode, console players will have the chance to enjoy a balanced option, which sees the game rendered at 40 FPS. I tried all 3 during my demo, and riding the Sacred was always a relatively smooth experience. Another major benefit the Sacred introduces compared to Monster Hunter World is the ability to switch between 2 different weapon types on the fly. For the majority of my session, I stuck to the combination of sword and shield with a heavy bowgun, enjoying the benefit of quick slashes when up close to monsters, but with a good degree of defense. The heavy bowgun, meanwhile, allowed me to pop off shots from the back of the Sacred whenever the chase was on. Range with the heavy bowgun was regularly an issue, as it should be, yet it worked marvellously when using environments against the creatures, like when I wanted to blast off a chunk of rock from a cavern in an attempt to pierce the snake-like hide of the Balahara. All 14 weapon types have clearly been tweaked to suit Monster Hunter Wilds' slightly quicker pace compared to World, with most of them letting you deal decent damage from above thanks to the leaping attack you can perform off the back of your Sacred. Even when getting up close and personal with an Alpha Doshugama, I generally felt like I was getting a better sense of feedback thanks to the new focus targeting option, which allows you to directly attack a monster's glowing red weak point and deal a devastating amount of damage to a specific wound. For all the appreciated tweaks and streamlining of both new and returning features, however, it's always been the case that any Monster Hunter game is only as good as its, well, monsters. Wilds addresses this by bringing back some deep cuts such as the farting monkey, Congalala, which is yet again both hilarious yet challenging to fight. Easily the most memorable bouts during my 6-hour Monster Hunter Wilds preview were the 2 spider-like foes. The first being the totally new Lalabarina, a creature able to open its thorax like a bright blooming flower to deal a great amount of damage. Its lair in the Scarlet Forest demonstrates just how stunning Wilds can look when the action takes place away from the desert. And the same was very much true for Monster Hunter 4's Nursilla, who brought spice to the fight by lurking underneath its own web here, forcing me to look below as well as above when facing off against it. Monster Hunter Wilds appears set to be an excellent refinement of the principles and approach first established in World and then further tweaked in Rise. Though this may have resulted in a less hardcore approach to the long-standing Japanese action RPG series, it means that the franchise as a whole has been able to reach max appeal, now with a sheer level of unbroken scale and spectacle not seen before. Do you plan on picking it up? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. And why not consider subscribing to the Mirror Gaming YouTube channel to stay up to date with even more videos like this. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.